In this video, you're going to discover the 9 best places to go on a river cruise. I'm Gary Bembridge of Tips for Travelers. River cruising is a great way to travel. You travel in small ships, largely everything's included, including drinks, food and excursions, and it's a fabulous, relaxed way of seeing parts of the world. So I'm going to talk about the 9 best places to go. First of all, the Rhine. This is the most popular river cruising destination in the world. The Rhine is a 900-mile long river. It starts in Switzerland and eventually empties into the North Sea. It passes through 6 countries: Austria, France, Germany, Liechtenstein, the Netherlands and Switzerland. Now, the reason the Rhine is so popular is it is just steeped in beautiful scenery and phenomenal history. So as you pass along the Rhine, you pass fairy tale castles, beautiful vineyards. A big part of the Rhine which you pass through on a river cruise is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's called the Upper Middle Rhine Valley. It's a beautiful part of the world, and it's basically between Rüdesheim and Koblenz, and you pass magnificent castles, beautiful scenery. So the Rhine is a great place to go on a river cruise, and there's huge amounts of choice. Now, the second incredible river to go cruising on is the Danube. The Danube is a very long river. It's over 1,800 miles long. It's the second longest river in Europe after the Volga, and it passes through an incredible 8 countries. So it starts in Germany, ends in the Black Sea. So it passes through Germany, Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, Moldavia, and finally the Ukraine. Now, the most popular stretch is between Germany and Hungary, so starting around about Passau and ending in Budapest in Hungary. Now, on this cruise you see phenomenal scenery, you pass through loads of locks and you visit fantastic places including Melk, where there's an incredible cathedral, Linz, Vienna, Salzburg, so really iconic and famous places. So again, many of the river cruising companies will offer cruises along the Danube. The next great river to cruise along is the Rhone. The Rhone is one of France's most magnificent and mightiest of rivers. The Rhone is perfect for people who love food and drink because it passes through really the gastronomic and winemaking heart of France. So on a Rhone cruise, you're going to cruise through places like Burgundy and Provence. You're going to visit places like the city of Lyon, which is the gourmet capital of France. Some of the historic places of visits are the fortified city of Avignon. The reason, though, that many people go on a cruise on the Rhone is because of the food and the wines. The next great river to cruise is the Douro, which will take you through Portugal and Spain. The Douro Valley is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now, this is not as well known as many of the other rivers. Most of the cruises will start in Porto and will wind its way along the Douro, normally ending back in Porto. Now, as you pass along the Douro, you're going to go past lots of very picturesque vineyards, you're going to go past medieval villages. So the Douro is really popular with people who either done the Rhine, done the Danube, want to see other parts of Europe. Now, my 5th suggestion on one of the best river cruises in the world is the Loire in France. Now, the reason that this is fantastic is it's one of the quietest rivers for river cruising. It's a very shallow river, so it's quite difficult to navigate. So Crossy Europe actually created a very specific ship which has paddle wheels on either side to be able to go down the Loire. So what you'll find on the Loire is Crossy Europe is the only main river cruising company there. And it's absolutely magnificent because you go to visit incredible chateaus, you see beautiful scenery, very historic towns. It's much less commercial than many of the other rivers which are very busy. My next suggestion is the Seine in France. The cruises travel between Paris and Honfleur, which is down on the coast near the Normandy landing beaches. So the Seine is a really great river cruise if you want to see some of Paris, because often the cruises will include some times to see Paris at night. You'll get a chance to visit Versailles. You will go through the beautiful French scenery down to Honfleur, and particularly if you're interested in history and the Normandy beaches, there's some great excursions. There are many options of places to cruise on rivers in Europe. But I want to take a look at some of the other rivers of the world, which I think are among some of the best river cruises that you can do. The first of those, and one of the most popular and growing ones, is the Mekong River. Now, the Mekong River will take you to Vietnam and Cambodia. Many of the big European river cruise operators operate in the Mekong. The 3 big city highlights include Siem Reap, Phnom Penh, and Ho Chi Minh City. Although many people go on the Mekong River to see the Angkor temples, and particularly the beautiful temple of Angkor Wat. One of the excursions is normally going to this big sprawling temple at sunrise, and you get to see the sunrise above the temple and then go and explore it. On these cruises, there's lots of cultural immersion, so a chance to really understand the culture of Vietnam and Cambodia. There's visits to markets, and of course some of these incredibly beautiful temples. The river cruise boats tend to be slightly smaller than the ones in Europe, a little bit more nimble because of the nature of the river. Now, my next suggestion is the Nile. This is one of the oldest forms of river cruising, going right back to the days of the Pharaoh. The Nile is an incredibly long river. It's over 4,160 miles long. Now, the river cruises on the Nile tend to focus on a 120-mile stretch between Luxor and the Aswan Dam. And this is really the most important part of historic Egypt. So in Luxor, you get to see the Valley of the Kings and other significant finds. And then you basically can cruise down to the Aswan Dam, where there are some excursions where you can go and see some of the very significant sites there. The Nile is a magnificent place to cruise. It's very historic, and you have these beautiful small river cruising boats. And the most important time to go, because it gets incredibly unbearably hot in Egypt, is around about Christmas time, so sort of November through to about January, February time. The other great place to go cruising is along the Mississippi River in the United States of America. The Mississippi River is a magnificent historic river, and you can go on river cruises and really explore the old history of the South, the Civil War, slavery, and also just take in the beautiful scenery, the old plantations. For those of you who are fans, you can also, on many of the cruises, go to Memphis and of course visit Graceland's, Elvis Presley's home. There are two big companies that offer cruises along the Mississippi, which is the American Queen Steamboat Company and the American Cruise Lines. But they operate those big old traditional paddle steamers with the big wheels at the back. Of course, there are many more rivers of the world that you can go cruising, and all the time companies are finding ways to go on more and more rivers. It's a beautiful way to go and see a part of the world. It's quite intimate. The boats by their very nature are small. It's quite a leisurely approach. And most of the river cruises are pretty all-inclusive, so you'll find your accommodation, your food, your excursions are normally included. So it's a great way of immersing yourself and seeing parts of the world. Those are, in my view, the 9 best river cruises in the world. If you like the video, I'd love it if you gave a thumbs up and a like. But very importantly, please subscribe to Tips for Travelers, and you'll get much more travel inspiration, advice and tips with a new video posted every single week.